Greetings, Old Orchard. We're having a quick little meeting here through this video. We used to have a quarterly leaders summit where we would gather as many people as we could in the living room of the Milligan House and have a conversation about all the things that are going on behind the scenes in the life of our church, things that don't make it into the sermons or maybe aren't the right things to be shared in the announcements, that maybe are more urgent, more right now than we would get to in a congregational meeting. So here we are. Let me try to share some slides with you. And here we go. So welcome to the Leaders Sum Up. This is meant to be 10, 12 minutes of things that are happening in the life of our church. Here's our agenda for today. Today's agenda, 10 items or less. What's going on? Hopefully you're still seeing that. Item number 1. Here we go. We are in the midst of a 5th year review. This is all leading up to my 5th anniversary here at Old Orchard. The Constitution of our church asks us to do this. We're doing it a little different this time because we want to be prepared to chart a course and look ahead to the coming 5 years. So we've got 4 phases in this review. Discover, we've done a lot of work there. And then Dream, we've been working at that. Some of you attended a big workshop in May. Things have been handed to the session to try to take all that was shared and come up with something. We're now shifting to a design phase and then a develop phase. Because this is just a quick overview, the thing I want to share here is we're now working with a draft idea, kind of a concept called widening the circle as something that might help us looking forward, a focus of ours for the next 5 years. And the idea here is think of the communion circle around our sanctuary, how we end our worship together in this family circle. And so perhaps a compelling way to bring the best of Old Orchard forward into our present time and place and beyond is to just focus on what would that look like? What would that mean for us to widen the circle, whether that is in our own homes, in our own hearts, or in this physical space of our sanctuary. So you'll be hearing more about that in weeks to come. Item number 2, our staffing search. I came back from a sabbatical in June and learned that Catherine was feeling like this position was a little bit too much for her. She shifted to serving as our accompanist. And so since July, we've been working at, okay, let's find our next director of music and worship. So quick update. We have posted this opening in lots of places. Chief among them is the church website. I want you to know about that because you can share that easily with anybody and everybody you know. You can direct them to the church website. You can go there and see the tab that says join our team, and there's a whole page about this open position. It's easy to get the link and text it to people, insert it in a Facebook thread or group, share it wherever with whoever comes to mind. So that's the main place we're kind of directing traffic to. We're also using a paid posting on Indeed. We're posted at Covenant Seminary. We're posted at the PCA job board. I'm working my own network through LinkedIn and Facebook. And we actually have had a handful of applicants. So we've had 6 people apply. 4 of those have translated into interviews. I'm actually having an interview with a 4th applicant today. So maybe something will come out of this early round of applications. I'm thankful that we have some people who are really interested, and it's just trying to find the right match, the best match for who we are. I think that's the top of our list in this search is the right person. There's room to shift other things around. We really just want to welcome the right person in to lead us through the next chapter of music and worship. Moving on, item number 3, a couple of programming updates I want everybody to know about. Children's worship. This is that program that runs during our worship service when we dismiss children in ages, I think grades 1 to 5 to go downstairs for children's worship. We have realigned this ministry so that it is more of a worship service. In fact, it is a worship service for our children. And along with making that a worship experience and worship service for them, we've also aligned each week's experience down there with the same theme that we are worshiping under upstairs. So that's something we can all be excited about, but especially if you have children in the program, Or even if you're serving as one of the leaders, you can then talk to the rest of the family or other people who were upstairs in worship and find that you have been working through perhaps even the same scripture passages, but certainly the same theme together. So we're hopeful that that will strengthen our life as a church. Number two, youth group. When our transition last year, our youth group was meeting on Wednesday nights with Crossroads PCA in Maplewood. This fall, we've shifted back to Sunday evenings. So our youth group is meeting again in the Milligan House on Sunday evenings. This is something that I think all of our current children and families were advocating for. So I think it's been a very welcome shift, and I just want you all to know that's what's happening. I'm very pleased with Bryce's leadership and helping us to build this program back up. So just wanted you to know they're back to Sunday nights. And then moving on to item 4. We've had an ongoing challenge since COVID to keep our nurseries open and staffed, right? And we have had traditionally 3 programs running simultaneously: an infant nursery, a toddler nursery, and preschool worship. And to keep those things staffed has been a bit of a challenge. So we've got a new brainstorm, and you're probably hearing about this just for the first time, but Kelly, Mackie, and I have been trying to figure out, is there a way we can serve our present children and the different ages that they are with perhaps fewer volunteers being needed each Sunday? And we think we have a winning concept here. We're still working this out, but I wanted to share it with you so that you can help us think about it. So the idea here is that if we could combine our most beautiful and most useful nursery spaces into an adjoining space that's larger and more flexible, perhaps then we could also take toddler worship, the toddler nursery and preschool worship, and combine those into one program that's easy for us to staff and is sustainable, can maintain our values and our love for our children, but put them all into one program together. So there's new challenges with that, from having, the walkers, I don't know, age 1 to 2, all the way up until and through kindergarten. But this is something we're thinking we can do and might be a better way forward for where we are now. The idea of double doors would mean that we could close those doors and have the spaces back and expand our programs back out to more programs in the future. Happy to hear thoughts on that. I wanted to share it. Item number 5, Church Center. You've been hearing about Church Center. Our new church directory is on Church Center. We are expanding to make sure we're populating groups in Church Center. And so if you go into the Church Center app and you look at groups, which is one of those options at the bottom, it will bring you to a place where you can kind of scroll through our groups. And at the bottom of that listing of groups, there are some options to find a group. So I'm sharing this now because you're going to be seeing more and more groups on Church Center there. Our goal is to get all of our groups there. If you've been with us a long time, think back to when we had a kind of paper printed manual of what's going on at Old Orchard, right? I've thought about recreating this thing and having an Old Orchard manual where you can see it all in print. Here's the way our church is structured. Here's all our ministries. Here's all our ministry leaders. And there it is. Well, Church Center is able to do the same thing for us, but to put it, right on your smartphone, right in your pocket. So looking in there, you can see in real time what all the groups, who the groups are, who's in the groups, what the groups are doing, who's leading the groups. You can message people about it. You can see the events that they're doing. So we're moving in this direction. Improved visibility, accessibility, communication is our goal. I know it's going to be an adjustment for some of us getting into an app and a church app. But one of the advantages is if you want to see what's happening in the church, it will all be here. And there won't be any outside things cluttering it up. So you get one dedicated stream for the life of our church in Church Center. We're moving that direction. One more quick thing on this. You're going to find categories for those groups. There is a category now called Serving on Sunday, and then another category called Beyond Sunday, Serving Beyond Sunday. We want to shift the understanding for members and regular attenders here, the goals or even standards for serving at Old Orchard. Going back a number of years, as a member, we told everybody, as a member, you're going to be needed in the nurseries, and you're going to need to serve in the nurseries once a quarter. As a member, we're going to need you to help us with the buildings and the maintenance of the place, and we're going to ask you to mow the lawn once a year. I'd like to replace those ideas with, instead, we want everybody to serve on Sunday in one of those ways of serving on Sundays. That doesn't mean that you serve every Sunday, but it means you're part of one of the ministry teams that is bringing our church to life on a Sunday morning. And we want everybody to find a ministry beyond Sunday. And that will mean serving on one of our ministry teams that is ongoing throughout the week. So you'll be hearing more about this. I just want to introduce the idea. Item number 6. I want to share, this is very happy news for me, that the Connections team is back. We have established over the last couple of years a threefold approach to congregational care. Congregational care is a ministry that is shared by both our session and our deacons, and in fact, by the whole congregation. All the one anotherings of the church are meant to happen kind of under this umbrella. We have 3 branches of congregational care, Helping Hands, Connections, and Focus Care. The Connections team was led by Donnie Clinton and Priska Rice. Now that neither of them is actively serving, or in fact, even here with us, we have needed to reinvigorate this team. So I'm happy to share that a new team is meeting, and they've got a lot of great ideas, and they're getting organized. You're going to be hearing more from them. If you are curious, Jenny Rupp is the coordinator of this team, of the Connections team, and she's got 5 or 6 people now working with her. So this is great news for our church. Connections, of course, is all about making sure that people are being drawn in to the life of our church, that we know one another, that we're involved in one another's lives. So it's a big flexible idea that touches everyone. And the goal of Connections is to mobilize the church in bigger and better ways to be connecting with one another. So you'll hear more from them. Moving on, number 7, this is a new idea that we're going to try called 10-minute trainings. And the idea is once a month, myself or someone that I have asked to help me will be putting together a very quick 10-minute training on something that we all could use a bit of a refresher in. And these are going to happen on Sunday mornings right after the service. So coming up, not this Sunday, but the next, there's going to be a 10-minute training on increasing our welcome. So you'll hear from me for a few minutes. We'll get to talk to each other for a few minutes, and then everybody can go about their day. I don't want to create a long church meeting, but we need an opportunity to just keep sharpening the tools, encouraging each other in things that are important to our church. So you can see the schedule there, increasing our welcome. We're going to do one on Church Center. We're going to do one on our nurseries and this new approach that is developing with the shared space downstairs. So those things are coming. And we're getting to the end of my list. Item number 8, arts ministry happenings. Hopefully you know about these and have been hearing about them already. We want to continue to cultivate a love for art and beauty here at Old Orchard. And these are just a few things that are helping us to do that. So the Les Miserables seminar that's coming up, John Hodges is an expert on this topic, and it is a passion and a love of his. So I hope you will come and hear him on Friday night coming up when he presents to us. And then the next morning on Saturday, John works with a group of people who run a gap year program. It's called the Center for Western Studies. So if you're curious about that, if you know people with high schoolers, if you know people who are just like the idea of a gap year, invite them, welcome them in for that Saturday morning. This focus on Western studies actually takes their students over to Europe to see things firsthand. It's a cool program. And then House Moot, the event with a strange name that you need to just jump in and take part in. You're going to be hearing a bit of a countdown, how many days we have left till House Moot, and a count up about how many people are joining the Church Center group that is House Moot. So if you want to know more, go to Church Center, find that group, join that group, and you will be in to the community that builds around this upcoming event. Almost to the end of my list. Sunday school, just a happy report. We launched Sunday school last Sunday, and we've got 4 offerings. We're aiming to have something for everybody. We don't have a nursery component, but many of our very younger people can join in with the What's in the Bible class for elementary kids. It's kind of a one-room schoolhouse, but it is a lovely thing that they're doing and very welcoming for kids of all ages. The thing I really want to share is that our adults are saying yes to Sunday school. We have 26 adults participating in our 2 Sunday school classes this fall. There is still room for you. If you didn't make the first week, join us. You can find out all the details on Church Center in the Sunday school offerings category. That is the end of my list. So thanks for joining me and trying out this Leaders Sum Up. I'd love to hear back from you. If you have questions, thoughts about what's happening in the life of our church, I'll be doing another one of these each quarter. So if you also have ideas about how to make this better, I'm happy to hear them. I am not an influencer or a video maker, but I'm willing to do whatever we need to do to help breathe life into our community. So thanks for paying attention. Thanks for praying through all these things with me. And just thank you for being a part of Old Orchard Church. We love you all, and we need one another in all these different ministries. It's exciting to see what the Lord's doing in this moment, in this season. Go now in grace and in peace.